Hello everybody, welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics walkthrough. Alright, what do we got going on here? Heading to, where's this, Dorder? Dorder Trade City, I think. So we've got a little cutscene. Obviously the last video there we did the Orban Monastery, the different floors, and acquired the Germanic scriptures, which I actually went through at the very end of the last video. So I'm actually not going to comment much more on that. I think I went through that fairly well, or at least summarized it fairly well in the last video. But anyways, alright, so we've got apparently an exotic wizard. Heretic Ramza. Well, that's not really our first name. That's not, I mean, it's Ramza, yeah, not heretic, though. Don't label me, bro. Oh, terrible. Wow, okay, there we go. Let's get this dialogue rolling. Where is Alma? Where is she? If you want her back, come to Ryavane's castle, but you must bring the Germanic scriptures given to you at the monastery. What does it mean to you? Haven't you read it? And here, I don't know if that dialogue actually matters. Return Alma if you don't want the church's lies exposed. And you're in no position to make demands. I actually completely disagree. It may seem a little cold, but Ramza has all the power in the world against the church right now. And to be honest, and again, it's going to seem a little cold, but those Germanic scriptures, man, that is so much more important than Alma. Again, sorry, seems a little cold to say that, but I totally think that that's the truth. That's huge. That's huge. I mean, that literally stops the church's plot in its tracks. There's no argument there. All right, what's going on here? Well, I was looking at the fur shop, I guess. I guess I didn't see even what was for sale there. But all right, so what do we have here? I'm gonna pick up a couple of new weapons. We got some short edges. Looks like some new, samurai swords. A couple of new staves. I think the flame whip is new. Bloody strings. That's an interesting weapon. That actually is a lot like the blood sword, where the damage that you deal to an enemy is absorbed back. Alright, so and then there's some bags. I know a lot of people don't like the bags. The bags are actually a lot like the flails, I think they're technically called. So like actually, I think the basic item is the flail, and then you've got like the flame whip. Those are mostly used by, I think, squires as well as ninjas. And I think the big gripe with them is that their damage is randomized. So I understand that. I'm actually not a big fan of randomized damage. The bags, however, there are a couple of interesting ones. I believe that P bag there always has the regeneration ability on it, which is actually really nice. I like that ability. But alright, so what do we have here? We've got another cutscene with the ruins of Zeltenia Church. Here you are. Everyone was looking for you. Shouldn't talk to a princess in such a way. Stop it. By your leave, your most gracious majesty. He actually seems a little patronizing right there. I don't know if that's what he was intending to do, but... Not Ovelia, you know. I'm worth nothing to you. Not even worth being alive. Yes, you're not Ovelia. We don't know your real name, or even if you're a noble or a commoner. And what did my life mean all these years? Alright, so this scene is actually pretty important. Obviously, Ovelia is kind of coming to terms with the fact that she's not who she thought she was. And I mean, frankly, she's obviously being used by the church, or I should say, the church wants to use her. Basically because everyone thinks she's the princess. So, yeah, pretty, I mean, world-shattering events, obviously. I mean, the fact that she was kidnapped from the monastery is one thing. But, you know, the fact now that she's not who she was told she is, and apparently, you know, is being essentially used in a plot. And Delita here, again, I'm not sure if he's actually genuine here when he's going through this dialogue. So obviously he says, here's the thing, you know, yeah, the church wants to use you, but you know, and I know what it's like to be used as well. So, you know, and again, I'm not 100% sure whether he's genuine in means, or whether or not his intentions are actually good or not here. And obviously, Ovelia, I don't know. I don't know if she indeed chooses to trust him here or not, or if it's just kind of building to that point. So, again, really, really interesting story. I absolutely think that this is one of the best stories in any RPG / strategy type game. There's just a lot to it. All right, so what? Okay, so here we've got a rumor that the Marquis was slain in battle. Hit by a stray arrow at the battle at the Fuss Plains and died as people believed in him and thought he was a devout believer in the Glabados Church. So there's a hint. He was a devout believer in the Glabados Church. So keep that in mind, I guess. But again, very important rumor there as to the fate of the Marquis. So very, very interesting. Speaking of judo outfits. And then the power sleeve there. I don't know when those were actually available, but I like actually both of those pieces of equipment, especially that power sleeve. It adds 2 to your physical attack stat, which is obviously going to help you to do more damage to enemies. And here I'm just picking up items that I don't have yet in my inventory. A lot of this stuff I will never use, but I just like to have the I like to have them for the item, you know, complete item list, I guess you could say. Yeah, so I'm just kind of going back here and checking out old stuff. Alright, so I would assume, yeah, probably a good idea to save here before we continue on. Don't want to end up with a game over for some crazy reason here. But alright, anyways, we need to head on to Grog Hill, as that is our next battle location. This battle, if I remember correctly, isn't all that difficult. We will see. Alright, so the usual setup here. I'm going to bring Agrius and Mustadio, as well as my 2 dancers. Now, again, unfortunately, Agrius and Mustadio are just not going to be all that useful. Mostly, though, because I've got them in some kind of crummy jobs for the time being. So, again, they're... I don't know, they're just... I don't want to call them hindrances to my party, but they also don't really help all that much. Alright, so what do we have here? I believe these are, yeah, deserters. So, Nanton deserters, specifically. Obviously, they just want to return to their homes. So, Ramza wants to, obviously, just leave them. Try and get us off guard and kill us. None of your tricks will work. Alright, so these guys apparently are not very trusting. Who's on the wanted list? So what? It's him, the heretic. Alright, so this guy makes the mistake of thinking it's a good idea to try to bring in a heretic. Or a heretic. Like, I don't know why I would pronounce it in a strange way. He's a heretic. I like both ways. I'll be honest. I don't know why though too. Every time I hear that I think of Halo, or at least Halo 2. Well, I think the grunts and the elites are always calling the Master Chief a heretic or a heretic, whatever. Oh, and then there's the, yeah, I don't know. There's a stage in there without getting too much into it. If you're not familiar with Halo 2, there is one stage where you are hunting down a heretic. But, alright, anyways, back to Final Fantasy Tactics. What do we have here? We've got a couple of chemists. A squire with an axe, if I remember correctly. And I don't know if this is the first time we've run into any squires with axes. Axes are another one of those weapons that do randomized damage, which, again, I'm not a big fan of. I don't like the random aspect to it. But you know, there's the potential for really, really damaging attacks from them. We'll see if that pays off at all for them or not. But know that that is, or they have the potential at least to do some really good damage. I'm going to move my dancers up just a little bit, just to potentially take some fire here, and maybe get that sunken state to trigger. Now, obviously, all right. So we've got a female thief here, so a bit dangerous as far as charming goes. Again, now I don't know 100% if this one's got the charm ability or not. But again, that ability can be pretty devastating to your team. You know, depending on what male units you bring to the battle. Obviously, Ramza being probably my top, actually definitely my top unit here as far as damage goes. And if you were to be charmed, that could really be an issue. So I'm going to at least try to play it safe here. Alrighty. Let's see here. Oh, Agrius is in her base job class. So, now depending on, yeah, okay, I've got a couple of decent skills here learned too. So, she is definitely not going to be the hindrance that I thought she was. Shouldn't say that. She's going to be contributing more than I initially thought. Lightning Stab is pretty huge. I would say, of all of her sword type abilities, or holy sword abilities, that's probably the one that I use the most. Secondly would be Holy Explosion, which unfortunately I don't have yet. It's really good damage as well as a decent range, obviously. Although I should say, unfortunately, it's in a straight line, so it can be less. Oh, what's the right word here? It can be more difficult to use than Lightning Stab. Lightning Stab is very, very flexible. That's probably a good term, or a good assessment. Alright, what are we doing here? Speeding Agrius up. So that is one of the things I want to actually mention about Agrius. Probably the biggest biggest negative, or no, I should say, let me put it this way. Probably I would say her weakest point is her speed. She is extremely slow, and unfortunately, being a female, she doesn't have access to some of the other. I shouldn't say that. Okay, so one of the things that can really help speed your characters up is the thief hat. And I don't believe, now actually let me check here just to make sure. I don't want to be wrong on this. I want to check her base class. Change job, Holy Knight. Holy Knight! Equip helmet. Okay, yeah. So she cannot equip the thief hat with her base class. So that, unfortunately, that's 2 speed that she would have, and then on top of that, the thief hat's got the immunity to don't act as well as don't move. Now, females do have better options, though and it's arguable whether it's a better option or not for the helmets. So they can use the ribbon, the katusha, and the beret, which all have really, really good status immunities on them. So she does have that going for her, as well as the fact that she can equip the perfumes. And the perfumes are absolutely crazy. To be honest, I feel like those perfumes make up for any sort of disadvantage the female units have in the game. And to be honest, they're a little overpowered, frankly. So once we actually get some of those, I'll show you those. But for the time being, unfortunately, I would say she's extremely slow. So in order to try to make up for that, I'm going to be trying to speed her up with Ramza. Obviously, another way to kind of get around that is the speed save ability, obviously. Now, that's definitely useful. Unfortunately, though, she does have to be hit for it to trigger. And the better, or the more brave you have, the more often that will trigger. So that is one of the reasons why I will be buffing her up. And you'll definitely see that in these battles. I spend actually a lot more time with Ramza buffing the rest of my characters' brave levels and whatnot, as opposed to just running around killing stuff. So you kind of have to, I would say, make that investment. And in a lot of these battles that I would say are frankly pretty easy, it's better to excuse me, it's better to spend a little bit of time kind of buffing up your characters and getting more JP as opposed to just running around with Ramza destroying everything in sight. So again, you kind of have to invest a little bit in your characters. Here I decided to move my dancer up in front of those chemists so they couldn't get by. I'm not really sure if that paid off that well. I guess we'll see, but trying to speed Agrius up here some more. One other thing I would say actually with Agrius is that her physical attack stat isn't all that great, and unfortunately that translates to kind of poor damage on her sword abilities. So one of the ways that you can kind of get around that is actually leveling her up as like the knight or lancer. But to be honest, my favorite way to level her up is with the ninja, because it's got really decent growth across the board, as well as really good, or actually I should say, the best speed growth in the game. So I will be, as soon as I unlock ninja, I will be leveling her up as ninja. So unfortunately, that's going to be quite a ways out. There's a lot of jobs that I have to get through first, in order to actually unlock ninja. So again, unfortunately, it'll be a ways before I'm able to get that. But there, we took down that thief. So now I don't have to necessarily worry about being charmed. Again, I'm not actually sure if that specific ninja had the ability to charm me anyway, but I would rather be safe than sorry. I don't want Ramza running around killing my own characters. So there you have that ninja there. His projected damage was supposed to be like 45, but he only did 18. And again, that's the issue I have with a lot of the weapons actually in this game, the ones that do the random damage. You know, axes, flails. I know there's at least one more that does random damage, but I can't think of what that is right now. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully I'll think of it eventually here. But yeah, so anyways, that's oh, the bags. So that's kind of why I steer away from those items. Now there is one bag specifically that I actually really do enjoy, and that's actually the H bag. Oh boy, let's check. I don't think we actually have one yet, but we will. We will get there. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, the H bag. So the reason why I like the H bag is it's because it's actually the only weapon I believe in the entire game that increases a character's speed. Unfortunately, it only increases speed by 1, but there are a lot of times in the game where, specifically for like JP building, and like I should say JP farming or experience farming, where I don't really care about how much damage I do. I just want that character to be, you know, faster and be able to take turns more often. So in those cases, I really enjoy that bag. It's actually semi-decent on dancers as well, just because, again, it does speed them up, and frankly, I don't care so much what a dancer is equipped with as far as weapon-wise. So, you know, again, interesting item. I like it for the speed. Again, the only, as far as I remember anyway, it's the only weapon in the game that actually increases speed. Now, there is a weapon that actually gives you permanent haste in the game, which is way better than that H-bag. But that's a sword, and it's very, actually, it's very limited as far as who can actually equip that. So, I should say, like, job-wise, very few jobs can actually equip that. I believe it's only some of the base characters. Ramza's Squire can equip it. By the way, that the weapon is called the Excalibur. We will be getting it a bit later on, not too much later. But Squire can equip it. Ramza's Squire. Agrius's Holy Knight can equip it. And then the Knights can actually use it too. Now the crummy thing about those Knight swords is the Knight ability equip sword does not allow you to equip those. So you know, if you wanted to try to equip that item on, say, a chemist, well, sorry, but you can't do it, and that's unfortunate. Even with that equip sword ability equipped on the chemist. So unfortunately, you know, limited in who can equip it. So, boy, that was a tangent, huh? All right, let's. Ooh, what? There we go. Life is short. Berry. Steady sword. Okay. Some of these quotes are kind of strange. That one's a bit odd. Stop healing yourselves. Chemists are actually kind of decent for farming JP and experience. Obviously, just because of the fact that they can keep healing themselves. Now, I am not going to do that. I am going to hopefully end this battle quite soon, but just know that you can do that. Here I'm ending my dances. I'm not really sure why. And we're going to try to steal something here. What would we steal? Power sleeve. Okay. I'm not really sure why I did that, as opposed to just killing the guy straight up. Kind of feel like... I think my money situation was pretty good. I mean, power sleeves are awesome. I actually really like that piece of armor. Again, you know, it increases your physical attack stat by 2. So, pretty nice. Transparent is gone. Okay, no big deal. Let's finish this guy off. Crush punch. Alrighty. Alright, the chemist is down. So, let's see. Hopefully I finish this right now. There we go. Finished it with the old blood sword. So your lives are important, but is that it? Not sure really what he's trying to say there. Right, this battle is complete. See what kind of goodies we got here. A mithril gun. I believe that's an upgrade over the Ramada gun, although I don't remember if we already have some of those or not. Kind of feel like I do, but... Alright. Wonder what Father would have done. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Those guys didn't really give Ramza much of a choice. They were like, hey, you know, we're going to kill you and turn you in for money. Alright, so here's Olan, or Olan again. We meet again. A Black Lion's Crest. You're a Nanton? Kill the deserters for us. Never thought Abiel would help us. Not because I wanted to. I know, you didn't want to fight, right? Same here. I don't go after deserters because I want to. You know what I mean. You knew me. Ah, so here he's referring to when Ramza introduced himself. So Olin says, yeah, I saw your name and face on the wanted list as a dangerous heretic. What did you do? Are you going to try and catch me? Why would I do that? So my impression here is actually Olin is a bit of a kindred spirit. But your brothers are after you. Better run. Why do you continue to fight? As long as your brothers point swords at us, it'll continue. So if Larg quits, Goltana would too. But that won't ever happen. If you see Orlando of Nanton, let me know. Some are urging Larg and Goltana for gain. We're in the palm of their hands. They're the real ones to beat. Why Orlando? My father used to say he was his only friend. Orlando's my father-in-law. I'll tell him that. So, interesting that Balbanes and Orlando were close. It's for self-gain. Orlando won't allow it. He'll promise to kill in the name of T.G. Sid. Do you know about the High Priest plot? Yes, but there is no proof. Okay, so Olin's pretty knowledgeable as far as what's going on here. We're investigating it, but you may know better. If we prove it, would you stop fighting? Do you have proof? Yeah, we do. Here's the Germanic. No, nothing. No one knows. Okay, but I'm sure Orlando would quit. Well, then shall we go? So yeah, so I like, obviously, I like Olan. He's you know, not your typical soldier. He doesn't just take orders and not, I guess he thinks for himself. Ramza, you're not alone. You have friends, allies who'd risk their lives, and I'm one of them. Nice. So good to know someone who is a Nanton, or in the Nanton, is a friend and ally. Alright, but anyways, I gotta cut the commentary here. We are out of time. So hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.